Well, hey there. This is Rob Travels with Dottie. So you're either a beginner, a newbie for Quartzsite, or you're not and you're just curious about this video. Well, I'm going to tell you some very basic things and try to put your mind at ease as much as possible if you are among those who are considering coming to Quartzsite for the first time this year. We're in October now, and we're rapidly approaching the peak season for Quartzsite. And if you're watching this video, you're at least curious about it. And let me tell you about coming to Quartzsite for the first time and what that's like, because I remember it well. It was back, I believe it was in 2020. It was 4 years ago. I came to Quartzsite for the first time. I drove from Virginia to Quartzsite, Arizona, pulling my 27-foot, probably overweight Leighton Nomad trailer, which I no longer have. But it was the first time I had towed the trailer any substantial mileage at all. I think maybe 80 miles was my previous record. So I drove it across pretty much the whole country. And I didn't know anyone there. All I'd done is watched YouTube videos. And in watching YouTube videos, there were two YouTubers, Saznak, and that's Kansas spelled backwards. He was a trucker that has a popular channel, and he also at the time had a very beautiful Class A. And the other one was, if you watch Hobotech, that's a guy that does reviews and lessons and education on all things electronic, solar, batteries, you name it. They were going to camp together in Quartzsite on BLM land, and I'll explain a little bit more of that later. And they invited any listener to come camp with us, hang out. And they gave detailed directions on how to get to their campsite way out on BLM property. And it was, comparatively, it was pretty far out from town. But they not only gave written directions, but they did a video on doing it. But I was still very nervous. And the closer I got to Quartzsite, the more nervous I got. And it was in December, or January, early January, that I got there. I think probably 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that. And January is the busiest month. So my fears were realized when I drove my trailer into town, and I was surrounded by traffic and, caught in intersections and didn't know exactly where I was going and kind of couldn't get my bearings and wondered, is there a place I can pull over? Can I turn around? And I was pretty overwhelmed. Yet I was okay. I survived. I figured it out. I got out and set up camp near where their camp was, and pretty much every night went to their campfire and got to know those guys and other subscribers, and I had a pretty good time. And so why am I telling you all this? It's okay to be nervous. And I'm not here to tell you to not be nervous. I'm here to tell you that being nervous and going is absolutely survivable. After you get used to a few things, then the anxiety just evaporates. It goes away. So by my second year, I had there was no nervousness whatsoever about coming out to Quartzsite. You do have to make some decisions ahead of time. Where am I going to stay? Who am I going to stay with? What am I going to do? Well, first I'm going to talk to you about the options that you have. And the first option is, it's a little tiny town, the town of Quartzsite. It's only about 2,500 people population, but it's got 50 RV parks. 50. At least. Probably more. Do you doubt me? Check this out. There's page 1. All right. There's page 2. So that's a listing of actual town of Quartzsite in the town limits RV parks. Now, that said, during peak time, especially the time of what they call the Big Tent Show, where they have the outdoor RV show with the giant tent and all the vendors, that happens around the 20th of January. And if you're looking to book an RV park for that time for like a week, you better do it now, or you may not find one. But coming in and getting 1 or 2 days, you could find something. It's not that huge a deal. But if you want to come during peak time, like middle of January, make reservations now if RV life and RV parking is your thing. So they're all over the middle of town here. But there's also what they call boondocking. That's camping out in the desert on federal land. That's called BLM land, and it stands for Bureau of Land Management. And I'm going to put up a little map here. You see where the two roads cross, make an X. The center of that's town. That's Quartzsite. That's where every facility that you need, every store that you need, it's going to be within a couple of blocks of that intersection either way. So you understand where that is. And that's where the vast majority of those RV parks are going to be. But this is a map showing two kinds of BLM camping. And let's talk about the orange drops. There's 2 of them at the top, 1 on either side and 1 at the bottom. Those are called 14-day areas, or just plain BLM 14-day areas, and those are free to park in. Now, you may have a camp host there that you can stop and get a permit. The permits are free. You know, you fill it out by hand. They take a copy, and there's something you can stick to your window. And you're allowed to stay there for up to 14 days for free. If after 14 days you have to move, you can move to another BLM campground, but it's got to be 25 miles as the crow flies away from where you're camping. But most of you are going to come for 1 or 2 weeks anyway, and you don't need to worry about that. So the one at the top, the furthest north there, and the top of the map is north, is called Plamosa Road. And then south of that, closer to town, is High Jolly. Now, to the west is Dome Rock, and to the east is Skadden Wash. And Skadden Wash is where I went that first time, where I had that meetup. And then Roadrunner is down south. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 BLM 14 days areas that you have to choose from. They're all very big, plenty of places to park. But in the middle, you see like an orange, looks like a magnifying glass. There are 4 of them. Those are LTVA campgrounds. Well, they're LTVA areas, really, and LTVA stands for long-term visitor area. And don't misunderstand when I say campgrounds. There are no individual camping spots. This is wide open desert, but there's fees and services that are available here. And at all 4 of these, and there's 4 of them, and they all join each other going south on 95. That's the north-south highway. There is 95. And the first 2, Laposa West and Laposa North, are just, they abut up to town, right? So one side of the road is Laposa North, the other one is Laposa Left. The ones further down south, they also join, but the entrances are down probably close to 3 miles. Is on one side is Laposa South, and the other side is Laposa Tyson Wash. Okay, so those 4 LTVA long-term visitor areas. Now, the services that are available there are at least you have access to the dump stations that are in Laposa South, where you can drive your rig and dump your gray and black water. There's also water available, fresh water, the drinkable water that you can fill your tanks with, or anything you want to fill with it, as long as you have one of the permits. And in all 4 of them, there are dumpsters. I think there's 1 each in Laposa North, West, in Laposa Tyson, Washington, there's like 4 of them in La Posa South. And for some reason, because of a contract thing, at the beginning of the season in La Posa South, there's only 2, and they overflow until they get number 3 and 4 in sometime in, I think, if I recall, like it's not till December, and it takes some of the relief off. And in most of them, they have vault toilets. And someone told me the other day, one of the ones close to town, they don't have vault toilets. And I'm not positive about that, but certainly La Posa South has lots of vault toilets. I think on the somewhere around 10, I think. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that much detail, but I will tell you that here are the fees. If you want to stay for up to 2 weeks, then you can buy a permit for $40. And that gives you access to all of the LTVAs. You can, if you decide you're in La Posa South and you want to go to La Posa North, you can do that on that same permit. Also, if you're in La Posa North, with that permit, you can go down to La Posa South and use the facilities down there, the dump station and the water stations, etc. If you want to stay the whole season, and that's not going to be most of you, but you could, and the season is defined as September 15th to April 15th, it's $180. So $40 for 2 weeks, $180 for the whole season. And hang on to this while it lasts, because there's a official proposal out from the government that states that they want to raise that $40 to 2 weeks. They want to eliminate 2 weeks, and they want to do $200 for a month. So, and also they want to take that $180 for the season and more than triple it, and they want to move that to $600 a season. So that's not approved, it's not official, but it's proposed. So I know my government proposed probably means that that's what's going to happen. So this year may be your last chance. I say it almost certainly a chance at these levels. They're going to be, I would be shocked if they didn't increase to some rate, if not the 600 and the 200. But anyway, there's a whole separate video I have in that, and many others do too, and many of them in far more depth than I go into. So you need to decide, am I going to do that, or am I going to go to just stay in one of those RV parks? Well, guess what? You can do both. Ideally, now, this is really ideal if you're like me and you have a small trailer you're pulling with a vehicle. If I had it to do over and I didn't have a place or a camp to go to, what I would do is I would make reservations for 2 or 3 nights in an RV park. I would get my trailer in the spot, get everything all hooked up, and then I would take off in my truck, explore maybe other RV parks, check them all out. Maybe the one I'm in, it's not the ideal one, and maybe someone else, if you see them in person, they may have more availability than they show online or when they answer the phone. Who knows? But if I want to go boondock, I can check out all the areas on this map, right? Remember this map, and I could just drive around looking for, where do I want to park? Who do I want to? You can get out of you can drive around down there, get out of your truck, and talk to people and explore. I think there is a $5 pass that you might if you want to be strictly by the rules. I think for a pass to just drive around, a day pass, I think it's $5, and either that, or if you decide to stay there, those passes can be purchased at the entrance to each one of these places. There's an obvious building at the front entrance, and they're not all open. You look to see if a flag is up. If the flag isn't up, look at the one across the street at the adjacent area, and probably that flag will be up, meaning that one's open. So you can wander around for a day or two looking for where you want to be, then you can check out of that RV park and then drive out to the desert pay your 14-day fee, or maybe you'll find in one of the BLM areas where you don't need any money at all, you'll figure you want to be out to one of those. But that's a great way to get to know the area. Now, let me give you a little bit more information on kind of a head start. I'm wondering, well, where do I get stuff? Like, the basic thing people wonder about is, where do I get groceries? Well, believe it or not, for this little town, there are a lot of options. And I'm going to flip through them real quickly here. Let's see. We have Coyote Fresh Foods. This is one of two really basic, locally, independently owned grocery stores. They're small, but they have a little bit of everything. And then right near there on the same road is Roadrunner Market. Same thing. The Coyote and the Roadrunner. It's not a coincidence. There is a story about someone that worked at the Roadrunner had a dispute with the owner, so they left and they said, well, I'm going to set up competition and I'm going to compete against the Roadrunner, so I'm going to call my store Coyote Fresh. So the Coyote and the Roadrunner. That's the story behind that. Also, in this area, you'll get to know where the Big Tent Show is, which is a big RV show extravaganza that happens in like the third week of January. And that area is called Tyson Wells, and it's filled with vendors, tented vendors, right? And one of the tented vendors is called Discount Grocery Liquidators. So it's a lot of bulk purchases that they've made, purchases of dry goods that may have a sometime this year expiration date, which is generally okay for dry goods. You're in no danger if you're buying stuff that expired a month ago. Just don't buy Pop-Tarts. Ask me how I know. Don't buy expired Pop-Tarts. It's no bueno. Buy fresh Pop-Tarts. Spend the extra money for fresh Pop-Tarts. But things like breakfast cereal, the breakfast cereals I bought, brand name, just fine. Last year it was like $2 a box. Well, if you're cognizant of regular grocery prices, that's anywhere from $5 to $7 for a box of cereal. So that's the kind of money you'll be saving. There is a Family Dollar on the same road. It's Main Street on either side of that 95 highway that splits Quartzsite. There's a Family Dollar, and then there's also a Dollar General. And brand new this year, it's not as close into town, but if you're coming north on 75 or 95, you would make a right on Main Street and go just a couple of miles, and you'll see a brand new store called the DG Market, and that's Dollar General Market. That is a Dollar General that is a little bit of an upgrade from a regular Dollar General, in that they have more things that a normal grocery store would have. I haven't been there yet. This is new this year, but I understand there's a meat section, a small meat section, and there's a small vegetable section. So it's larger and pretty much more direct competition to the Coyote and Roadrunner. And if you're wondering what's better, the Coyote or the Roadrunner, I got the answer for you. Neither. They're both great. I love both those grocery stores. And will you spend a little bit more there than you will at Walmart? Absolutely you will. Yes, you will. You can if you just want to save every penny and you want to drive an hour up to, it's a little less than an hour. It's probably 52 minutes up north keep going on 95 all the way up to Parker. There's a Walmart up there. It's usually certainly December and January. It's crazy up there. It's crazy crowded, and I don't go there that much. I don't mind spending a few extra dollars. And when I do I tend to buy very staple things at Family Dollar, Dollar General, and now DG Market, and certainly the Grocery Liquidators. I save a lot of money there, so I have extra money to spend in Coyote and Roadrunner. And by the way, Both of them have great meat sections. I mean, really good meat sections. And I think it's, forgive me if I got this wrong, but Coyote, Roadrunner has the stuff sort of wrapped like a regular grocery store. Coyote has like a regular like butcher counter where it's behind glass, and they're obviously doing a lot of the butchering and cutting there. But both of them are known for their high quality meats. And someone was really bitterly complaining that it's such a ripoff compared to Walmart. So I challenged that statement, and I went and I priced, I think it was a ribeye at locally at Coyote, and then I checked the prices up at Walmart, and they were virtually identical. So don't believe it that everything is way cheaper up in Walmart. And don't forget, you burn a little bit of gas and you burn a little bit of time going back and forth. You're not supporting local businesses, which is something I like to do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But here's the point of this video is, if you're coming and you're a little nervous about it, be nervous. I was. Again, I'm not going to tell you don't be nervous. That's like, when you're nervous, the worst advice you can get is someone saying don't be nervous. It's not helpful. What may be helpful is, despite you being nervous, you're going to be okay. There are going to be lots of people, friendly people, nice people that will help you. It's that kind of environment, and you will love, if you're anything like me, anything like my taste and sensibilities, you will love Quartzsite. I can't wait to get there this year. And if you're there too, I can't wait to meet you. Take care, and grateful so much if you've watched this whole video. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.